Hello, amazing, beautiful souls. Hello, hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. I know today is even a more blessed day because you're here watching this. I'm so excited to share with you an amazing, amazing person that not only has the light within her, but also exudes light onto everyone in her space. I absolutely have so much respect, so much love for this coach. She is not only an amazing mom, an amazing leader, amazing community leader, amazing person in general. But she is truly a person that values transformation, that truly values putting in that work so you can see the results long term. So I'm so excited for you to be here, Jasmine. She is an amazing wellness coach, and she helps women drop the guilt, overcome overwhelm, and step into authentic living. And I personally love that so much because this is what superstar interviews are all about. We love authenticity, and you embody
Yes.
that, Jasmine. So thank
Well,
you for your greatness.
well, thank you so much. I'm gonna need to put you in my pocket when we traveling because that introduction was really good for my ego. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. You've earned it, you know? So thank you so much for being on this call. I know you're a very busy woman and, taking the time out to share with the audience, what it actually takes to be a coach. I mean, it's time, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So before we get into the nitty gritty, because you've done some work not only on a whole different level in business, okay, but you've also done some personal work that has allowed you to get to where you are now, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
What were you doing before you went all in on your coaching practice? Like, how did this happen? How did you decide I'm going to be a coach?
Well, that first started, I was laid off. I was laid off in October of 2019.
Mm,
Um, the institution was having financial issues, and the last 2 years was very stressful. A lot was taken from the workers as far as like mentally and health wise, because we were put through so much strain. And before, I think, let's see, 2019, so about a year and a half or 2 years before that, I had actually started doing personal development because we
mhm.
knew that the end was coming with this. And so I just felt like, for me, I needed to prepare myself mentally, learn how to deal with things in a different way, because I wasn't happy with how I dealt with things personally. And so I wanted there to be a change in me. And I felt like it would help me better handle things within myself, within my family, and just in relationships in general. And so it did help, but there still was a collapse when the when the layoff actually happened, uh because what happened was that I was like, okay, it's over, there's no severance package, but I can get unemployment. And I'm just gonna work through this. I just started my business, and I'm gonna be okay. But what I learned about is, you can tell your body, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, but your body will tell you something different when it completely shuts down on you. And so that what happened to me was I had a panic attack. I was getting ready to drive my son to a gathering at our church, and I couldn't make it there because I started to have a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. I had to tell him, listen, we're going to go to the hospital because mommy is not feeling good. And after that whole experience, what I learned was that I needed to really start focusing on the inner wellness, the mentality, the mental wellness, and just start pouring into myself in a different way, where it gave me a different perspective to handle things differently.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's 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 like the beginning of something really incredible, because typically what do you consider that to be a low point in your life?
I do. It was I had no control. I had no control over this thing that was happening to me. And it was because I was just stuffing everything down. I wasn't really sharing it with people, because that's what, I tend to do, and, or people tend to do in general. They will deal with everything internally. And when you keep stuffing things within, it will come out, and then you have no control over it. And I've never experienced anything like that in my life. So then, I needed to regain control over myself and what I was going through internally. And so that was just figuring out how I was going to begin this process of pouring into myself immensely, so that I could never be out of control in that way. And not have control over myself and feel that way. It was scary. It was really scary. And I never want to have to experience that ever again.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing, that vulnerability side, because it's really tough for people to actually share what's going on, let
Mm-hmm.
alone voice it. But you've been
Mm-hmm.
so open in the way that you actually communicate with your audience, which is
Right.
authentic to us, because
Yes. Mm-hmm.
nowadays you can hide behind a filter, you can hide behind a phone, you can hide behind a computer, you can hide, I don't know, anywhere really, under a rock, and then kind of, pretend it's okay. What are maybe 3 ways that you can advise someone that is so, in a way, kind of shut down, okay, and they
Mm-hmm.
haven't been able to get up? What are 3 ways that you can advise someone to push through and get to that light?
The first thing is that you have to make a choice to recommit back to yourself.
Mm,
You have to realize that so you're recommitting back to yourself, and then you have to um recognize that you are the gift. You actually give so much to so many people. People depend on you. And so you have to know that that gift can also be used internally towards yourself. And then you want to be able to unlock the power that is inside of you. You have this great power that's inside of you, and you're just letting it dim, but you have it, and you need to use that to be able to step into your purpose. But the first step is making the choice. Like, you have to decide that you're going to choose yourself.
that's strong. That's beautiful. That's awesome. I know
Thank
before
you.
our call, before we actually got on this call, we were chatting for a bit, and you said something that was like really, really awesome.
Mhm.
And not a lot of creators, not a lot of coaches, not a lot of, creative people can actually understand this side of their business. Okay.
Mhm.
And you've been able to actually identify the inner works of why you're posting content the way that you're posting content. So can
Okay.
you shed some light, okay, for all those people that are like, I post, I post, I post, but nothing's happening, you know? Can you shine some light on the mindset behind why you post what you post?
Oh, well, it did come with some trial and error, because you got to
Yeah.
figure out who it is that you're talking to. But what I realized when I started like digging deeper into myself, I started getting responses from people or women in the messages. There was an urgency. They had an urgency. There was a desperation, and there was like, I need help because I am so tired, and I am so overwhelmed, and I'm tired of people pleasing, and I give so much to so many other people, and by the time I get to myself, I am depleted. Like, I have nothing else to give. And what I realized in that is that we as women, a lot of the time are taught to be in service. To be in service to people. We're naturally nurturers. We want to take care of everyone, but in being in service to people, we forget to be in service to ourselves. And so no one ever said that you didn't have to do anything for yourself, but we are just so prone to give up everything of ourselves to give to everyone else. And then we have nothing left. Then you're like, I have nothing left for me. But that was a decision that you made. You made the decision to give nothing to you. And so now you have to recommit to making the decision to say, listen, I'm going to give to you, but if I don't give to me, I'm not going to be able to give anything to you.
Right. Right. How has that helped you in not only all the community work that you do with the church and your community itself? Like, how has that helped you in business? Like recommitting to yourself daily?
It helps me to be a better person in general, and it sets some clear boundaries. Like even with church, they're always they always need someone to help them. And initially you want to say yes to everything because you want to be in service, but there's just some things that you just can't be there for, and you don't ever want to do anything where you're looking back and you're saying, oh, I said yes, but I really didn't want to say that. I really didn't want to say yes. I really wanted to say no. And you don't want to say no because you feel guilty. And it's just like, it's a active practice. You have to constantly practice, like being present with yourself and saying, is this something that I really want to do? If I do this, am I going to feel resentful about it? And if I'm going to feel resentful about it, am I going to put myself in a position to even have to experience all of these emotions when you can just simply say what you want? It's okay to say what you want. You get to say what you want. Yeah. And be okay with it. And be totally okay with it. No one is gonna feel, people get to have their feelings, but you get to have your boundaries and you get to choose for yourself without being influenced with what anybody else thinks. And that's the important thing.
Wow. I mean, that was a lot to unpack, y'all. So if you need to rewatch that part to really get it in, that's what you need to do right now, because there's a moment when everything shifts, right? There's a moment where you're like feeling almost victim mode, and then you transition into no. That's not going to happen today. I have the tools to set me up for success, and I know exactly how to get myself out of this mess. What are some of the tools that you've been applying based on the coaching that you share with women all over the world? What are some tools that you share with them to get them over that, people pleasing or feeling bad?
So the first thing that you have to be honest with yourself. And a lot of people don't want to be honest with themselves in the beginning because it's too painful. I had to do it with my own self. For a long time, I was hurting. I was in so much pain. I was emotionally in pain. I was dealing with so many different things. And I had to sit there and say, like, because you get to a point, you're like, well, why am I having to keep going through this? Why do I have to keep suffering? Why is it me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And then it was just like, well, you can keep saying that, this person or that person is hurting you. But the real reality of it is that you're hurting yourself because you keep allowing these people or these things to happen to you. You can choose otherwise. And that was like, slap all in the face, like, it's me. I'm choosing this for myself. This is terrible. How do I stop doing this? Because I don't want to be a part of the reason why I'm hurting. Like, I don't want this. This needs to stop. So, okay, let's figure out a way. Okay, I need to go to therapy because I'm a coach, but I'm not a licensed clinical professional. So I need to get support that I cannot facilitate myself. And I really need to work through why these things, why this keeps coming up for me, and dig deep into that. So that was the first thing. Sometimes you got to seek out support that can help you in a way that you cannot help yourself. And that was a pivotal moment for me because I've been through a lot of therapy, but the last round of therapy that I did was something called EMDR therapy, which is eye movement desensitization reprogramming. Best thing that I ever did for myself. I learned how to reprocess information that was triggering to me in a different way. Whereas before, the whole Latina would come out of me and I'm like, ah! Yelling. And now it's just like, you know what? I can't control you, but I can control me. And you know what? I'm going to remove myself from this situation because I don't think this is healthy for me. So I'm going to have to talk to you later. Bye. And that it didn't go so well in the beginning, but now it's just like, you have to step back. When you feel like you're about to pounce, you have to say, you know what? Does this have something to do, the way that they're reacting, does this have something to do with me? Or is this all them? Because if this don't have nothing to do with me, then I don't have to put myself in a position to even deal with this. How about that? And it takes, it's a huge responsibility, and it takes you being present to it. Like, you have to want to do it. You have to choose that for yourself. A lot of this has to do with the choice, the choice to put yourself first. Ooh. And not put yourself last.
The choice to put yourself first. I love that. Yes. Let's actually hold that moment. What were the steps that you took to actually hire your first coach? Because like how we started this conversation, some people don't know whether or not they're in a place to actually go get a coach, or even have the courage to even say, I need help.
Well, I did need help. Like, I felt like I couldn't do it by myself, and I needed someone who was at a higher level than me, that had already been through it, that had already been through steps, had already been through processes, in order, and that was clear already, that they already had a process. And so I wanted to learn the process because I didn't know the process. And so I needed someone to help me. And because I was just like, I'm just spinning my wheels, running into all types of brick walls, ain't nothing happening. I'm confused. I'm not clear. I need someone who already has been through this process, who knows what they're doing to, guide me. And that's how I move. And even still, as a coach, like, I still have coaches because they're still anytime you have a coach, you can always go higher level in coaches. You want somebody who's always like 5 steps ahead of you, because then you have something to aspire towards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, like, we have our own coach, and like, people don't realize, like, if you were the smartest person in the room, let's put it that way, if you're the smartest person in the room, you've already lost. And then having the ability to even say, yeah, I do want some help, I do want to actually learn something new, that's living. Like, that's the journey of this whole entire process, right? I mean, how has, like, your transformation, I mean, you have 2 incredible boys, right?
Three. So I have 3.
Three incredible boys. One is like my secret favorite TikToker. Just saying. How has this business transformed you? Because, like, I see you instilling some of the, affirmations within your children, and the way that you present yourself, the way that you show up, I mean, they're seeing that,
Mm-hmm.
growing from
Yeah.
that, learning from that. How has that helped them become better leaders within their own growth?
It's helped them tremendously because what I can tell you is the parent that I was for the first kid is definitely not the parent that I am for Zaire, which is the smallest one. But they all get to have the benefits of the parent that I am today. So that's an amazing thing. But what it helps them see is that I am very resilient, that when I want something, even though it's not working out how I would like it to work out, that I keep going. They see me taking care of myself, where I tell them, you know what, I'm going to my favorite coffee shop. I'll see y'all later. Y'all hang out with y'all dad, and I am going about my business. They see me go to the gym incessantly, taking care of myself, because going to the gym is grounding for me. It helps relieve whatever, like I learned that I have anxiety, and I think I have, like they said, something like PTSD or something from, previous trauma, childhood wounds and things like that. And so the gym actually helps to ground me. It helps release any anxiety that I have. So, I'm always at a stable mood. And, if I'm not, then I'm running over there. But I go 6 days a week. So with I see the most in the youngest one, because he's had the most of the benefits. So I'll give you an example. Just the other day, he was on the iPad talking to one of his classmates, and the conversation was really intense, and he's like, Ryan, I really need you to calm down, bro. You got to calm down. Like, I know you're upset, but you're gonna have to take some deep breaths, because like, it seems like you're spiraling out of control. And I'm just like, but why is this conversation so intense? And I'm like, Zaire, what's the matter? What's going on? He's like, Ryan, he feels like he's irresponsible because he lost his glasses. I said, well, if he lost it in school, tell him when he goes to school tomorrow that he can go to Lost and Found and he should be able to find. He was like, yeah, I told him that, but like, I can't get a word in because he's just spiraling out of control. And I was just like, but where he get this from? But it was just like him, he was trying to soothe him, because these are the things that I do with him. Like, when, Zaire is very intense as far as, like, he gets good grades, he's a straight A student, he goes to karate, he loves to dance. And so he's very, even with him getting baptized, these are all things that he chooses for himself. When he says that he wants to do something, he means it. So you really need to take heed to it. And so, like, watching him being able to do that for another kid, like, I was in awe of him. And then I had to step back and say, like, he's doing that because that's what you've been doing with him. And so, like, I'm getting to see, like, in real lifetime, the benefits of, all of this transformation that I've gone through, that is not in vain. It's for something, because me pouring into myself has helped me pour into them. And now they're pouring it into other people. And it becomes like a domino effect. And it's amazing to watch.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome. I love that so much. I mean, where do you see your practice going in the next 1 to 3 years? I mean, you've transformed so much in the last couple of months. Like, I know that when people are looking to invest into a coach, when they're looking to invest into anything really nowadays, they really want to see longevity with that
Mm-hmm.
person, right? So
Mm-hmm.
where do you see yourself in the next 1 to 3 years?
1 to 3 years, I like to see myself doing, like, large cohorts of coaching sessions in the 1 to 3 years. But ultimately, I would like to have my own wellness center for women, the Journey Back to Me Wellness Center, where it's not, it truly will be a journey back to themselves, because you would not only have fitness, but there will be, transformational classes for women and and their children, because their children would be able to get leadership, like leadership training at a young age. And just knowing that there's this place, this hub where you can get all of these resources in order to develop yourself. And because I am a chef, there'll be cooking classes and things like that. So that is where I see this going.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yes. And I mean, we share one of our love languages here. One of our favorite love languages. I know mine is food. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I freaking love food. I mean, and thank you for actually cooking amazing food and teaching others how to eat food. There's
Mhm.
you have a specific program for that. If you guys are interested for that, it's amazing. Within your one-on-one coaching, though, I'm very curious, how have you been able to, transcend someone from really just not being able to even make the decision, okay,
Mhm.
to, hey, you're on the road to becoming the best version of yourself. What are the three main things that you want others to do right now to make that next step even easier for them? Besides making the decision, okay?
Mhm.
The
Besides making the
decision,
decision.
because that's first, obviously. We learned that.
Mhm. They actually have to know what they want their lives to be like. Like right now, if you are struggling and you feel like your life is out of control, what do you want to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to see something different come out of this? Like, what do you want? You have to know what you want. How do you want to be? How do you want to impact the world? How do you want to impact your children? How do you want to impact your family? And how long is it going to take for you to decide that this is something else that you want for yourself? But you have to want to make that sacrifice. And what do are you going to keep on watching TV every day? Are you going to binge watch Netflix? Are you going to sit down and create a plan for yourself? Are you going to ask for support? Or are you going to sit there and stew on the information, knowing that you really need some help, but you're too afraid to ask for the help? Why be afraid? What is the answer going to be? Either it's going to be no, it's going to be yes. If it's no, you can always ask somebody else. Like, it doesn't have to be, nothing is set in stone. So yeah, those are
It's
some of the
these
things.
questions. Like, I freaking love this because throughout this whole entire interview process, like literally, I've written down maybe 3 to 4 key questions to ask yourself. So if you need to rewind, stop, ask yourself the questions, really internalize the question. That is the next step. And I love that you continue to ask yourself these questions, because like sometimes the talk that we have with ourselves is the one that we're not taking as serious, you know
Right.
so making
Mm-hmm.
that shift is like, that's the step.
Yes, because I'm going to ask you some thought-provoking questions, because that's what happened to me. Like, the only way for me to figure this out, to navigate this journey, was that there were some really tough questions that I needed to answer. Questions that I had to ask myself, and questions that I was asked. And sometimes you can't answer these questions in a day. Like, you have to sit there for a week and really ask yourself this question. And one of the biggest tools, my favorite tool, is journaling, because you can put it in there, and then you can go back, and then you can see how you can actually see the transformation in your writing, like what you wrote, you go back and you say what happened to you, and then you say that you're at this place right now. So that's a whole transformational experience in itself, because you get to reflect on that, and then you get to catapult on that also. So
That's so strong. Journaling is a game changer. And if you know the framework for it, make sure to hit up Jasmine. Has the right framework for it. So make sure to get that in. So Jasmine, we have one last question. And this might be the most important question that I ask you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So this is very, very important. Um, what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means to me that I get to do the things that I love with my family. I get to have really connected relationships. I get to go to places that I have never gone before. I get to provide for like my mom, because she lives far from me and I want her to be closer. So I get to work towards creating a life that allows me to do that for her, and for her to be closer to her uh her grandchildren. And I get to be always full of joy. Like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you ain't got no joy, you ain't got nothing. And so that is freedom to me, to be able to have this vast amount of joy inside of me, and being able to pour it out into people, being able to impact women all over the world, and then my family getting the benefits of that. That is like freedom. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I mean, if you're ready to make that change and really commit to yourself, make that decision and transform your life into becoming your most authentic self, Jasmine is your coach. So make sure to hit
Yes.
her up. What's the best place that people can connect with you?
You can definitely connect with me on, I changed my name on Instagram. It is I am Jasmine M. Jones. It used to be Jazz
Yes.
Social, but I am Jasmine M. Jones. You can connect to me from there, because it will take you directly to my email. You can message me, and we will definitely connect. I'm always ready to dig in, help people dig into their lives.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jasmine, so much for your time. You're always a breath of fresh air. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.